Hi everybody, and welcome to our Saturday morning here at Turtle Beach here in Thailand. I'm in my own backyard today. It's actually quite bright. I might have to sort of wear some sunglasses, but then I can't read the comments. Hello to all the people that are already online. I'll say hello to you in a moment. Today we're looking for hidden gems. We're looking for places off the beaten track. I mean, I know these are cliches, and I know Steve Ross's ears are pricking up going, oh God, hidden gems. However, I think I'm always telling people to get out of all the usual tourist traps. So it's all very well saying get out of the tourist traps without telling you where to go. So today I'm going to tell you where to go. Now, for those people who it's still July the 4th in the United States, happy Independence Day to you. I'm also aware that here in Thailand today, it's July the 5th. Today, the predictions say that a tsunami is going to occur. Now, I'm 50 meters away from the beach. You might even be able to see a little bit of blue there through the fence. And that is the Andaman Sea. And I'm going to address a person who said something about the Ring of Fire, that I was pointing in the wrong direction. I'll show my evidence to that, but the Ring of Fire for this part of the world is off the coast about 500 kilometers from where I am towards the west. Okay, so now because we've got a tsunami coming today, I'm tempting fate and I'm wearing my tsunami shirt. So let's see what happens. I'm fairly confident that we won't have a tsunami today. However, there are Thai people who have actually packed up, put their kids in the car, and they're going for a drive today away from the beach because they believe the predictions. They believe the fortune teller from Japan who says today is going to be the day when we're going to have the tsunami. If you want to know more about that story, I did a story yesterday, so you can click on that and have a read. But with all that in the background, we are today talking about hidden gems. And a lot of people saying, well, I don't want to share my hidden gems because they're hidden and they're gems and I want to keep them all to myself. So today I'm asking you to just lower your defenses. Don't be selfish, and let's share with everybody your hidden gems. I mean, you'll probably get from this podcast, maybe 1 or 2 extra people coming over the next couple of years to your hidden gem. I'm going to share one with you a little bit later. And I'll tell you what prompted this. It was a comment, a completely innocent comment that arrived in the comment section. And I sort of went, oh, okay. And look, I don't want to put this person down. I won't even read their name. But they were very innocently saying, I have to do a border run from Vietnam over to Bangkok. We're actually going to have to do 2 border runs to get from Vietnam to Bangkok. You've got to come through Laos on the way, or Cambodia. The less tourists that come through, the easier it is to get a good nightly rate on a hotel in Bangkok. Yes, it is the low season. Some people say it's a low season at the moment. We'll get into some tourist numbers a little bit later as we search for our hidden gems here in Thailand. This is the part I liked. I get my Sizzler buffet in and a good Western style movie at the big screen theatres. Then get to go to my favourite steak pub in Chiang. As long as I can get through the traffic and don't see any tear gas would be good. Like the videos of the 2014 coup. Yes, with the 2014 coup, there were probably a couple of intersections that no one here has ever visited where there were protests, and other than that, you wouldn't have known that there was a coup happening. And my staff have arrived for the day. They're going to be sanding tables today. That'll really make them happy. But what I thought was interesting about this particular story is that they were talking about going to Sizzler and a Western style movie theatre and their favourite steak pub in Chiang. Swadee Kap. So I found that interesting because people coming from the West are coming here to explore what I would call fairly Western pursuits, like a sizzler. And sizzler, not known for their Thai cuisine as such, but I go to Sizzler every now and then, and why not? But not quite as cheap as it used to be, I find. But anyway, some good fresh Western style food if that's what you want. And then they're going to sit in the theatre and watch probably a Western movie. But I mean, yes, you can come and do all that in a place like Bangkok and enjoy probably a cheaper experience for your sizzler, for your movie and your favourite steak pub. But I think most people do come to Thailand to experience, well, amazing Thailand. So within that, the tourist numbers are down at the moment. And I think this gives us all a bit of an opportunity to perhaps help Thailand, help Thais, help the tourism industry by going somewhere a little bit different. Now, it is so easy, and our family used to do it. We used to go to a beach house down in a place called Walkerville, in the southern part of Victoria along the, can't remember exactly where it was. I think we sort of call it the Gippsland area, down on the Great Australian Bight at the Southern Ocean facing Tasmania. But it was a very quiet little location. Funny that I sort of ended up living in a beach house in a very, very quiet beach location. Things stick in your mind all those years. But we used to go there every year. And it wasn't a matter of saying, oh, where are we off to this year, Mum and Dad? It was always, well, we're off to Walkerville. And the only discussion was the dates we were going down there. And we had friends down there, and we used to see them, the same people every year. And there was, I suppose, a sense of just wearing comfortable clothes and feeling in a comfort zone. But what I'm daring you to do is two things. Come to Thailand and go somewhere you haven't gone before. And secondly, if you have and you found something really cool, then share it with us. I do have a hidden gem, if you want to call it that. It's not really that hidden, but it's certainly a little bit off the beaten track, but not much. Like it's off the main road from the north to the south of Thailand by about a half hour. So it's hardly off the beaten track, but it is a beach. I do have this thing about beaches that you probably haven't visited before. And there is something sort of unique about this beach, which I'll share with you as well. So hello to everybody who's joined us this morning. Yes, this is a live program. If you're watching it later, well, bad luck. You can probably follow the comments as you go. I think the comments are republished as well. So what is happening out there in the wide world? Do you live alone in Thailand? No, I have a partner and I've got a dog who is eating her new chew toy that arrived yesterday. I ordered, what did I order? Grass seed or something, but I didn't quite reach the minimum order amount. So I thought, oh, what else can I buy? So a chew toy that looks like a piece of corn came up, and I thought, Daisy would like that, and indeed she does. And we've also got Dina here, the cats. So yeah, I've got a good life here as the staff head out to get hopefully some sandpaper. All right, hopefully most will have the sense not to mention their hidden gems, as we all know what will likely follow. Oh, thanks Austin, but there's not enough people here. Even if every single one of you in the comment section went somewhere today, it would hardly make a difference. Turtle Beach, yes, of course, that's a given, yes. So David Clark was saying, where is it? And thank you, David, and Gunya and Bonnie for visiting us here last week. Literally, you had 4 days of really excellent weather, as we've got excellent weather here today. And when David and I were talking, saying, oh, well, you know, this time of the year, it's a little bit of Russian roulette, whether you are going to get good weather or a bit of rain. No sooner had the taxi gone around the corner, the rain came down for 2 days. So you did very well, David. Travelling through the kingdom at present, says David. Very, very quiet. I think David headed up into northeast Thailand. Would suggest this time of the year you can take your pick, as there's no tourists to contend with. So David's sort of up into the Korat area, and then beyond Korat is the sort of gateway to Isan in the northeast of Thailand. And that is a very different experience, say for example if you've been to Phuket or Pattaya, because fewer people are going to be speaking English. The food's a little bit different, and of course you're not going to be seeing any beaches up there. And you keep on going and you reach up to the Mekong River. One trip I have in mind is getting on a motorcycle. Probably have to be a rented motorbike because I'm not going to ride my motorbike from here up to the Mekong River. But I think you can drive from Laos and what's the area called up there? It's got the funny pronunciation. I can't remember at the moment. I saw the Pittikan festival there. Sorry, my brain is whirring. Loy. It's Loy, near the border of Laos. I think it's right on the border. And then go right along the Mekong. I think there's a road that goes all the way down until you sort of get to what we'd call the east of Thailand on the Cambodian border. So that's a trip I'd like to do. And people have said good roads, interesting scenery all the way. So that's a trip I'd like to do. And I suppose you could call that a little bit of a off the beaten track. Not that there are tracks up there. I mean, there are perfectly serviceable roads, but it's sort of off the tourist track, and that's really what we're talking about. So the person sort of prompted me to go and have a look at some locations. So I asked the magic machine and said, give us some tips of things we can do that are a bit off the beaten track. So quoting, in this case, Meta and their AI. I use AI a lot these days. I'm not sure if you're doing the same. But yeah, there are parts of it that can be misleading. Daisy, where's your new toy? Do you want to share? Come here. Bring your toy here. Okay. I was going to show you the new chew toy. Do you really want to see it? I'm sure you do. Here we go. Ah! There it is. Look at that. Look at that. Looks like a piece of corn with a piece of... It's not quite long enough. This is your favourite? You like your chew toy? There you are. Come on. Grab it. Up you go. Come on. Come on. Up you come. She's not much of a jumper. There you go. Off we go. Sorry for that digression. So yeah, I am using AI quite a lot these days, and just doing general inquiries, and it's getting better and better. There are some inaccuracies, and you need to keep in mind that it's not always going to be 100% correct, especially when you're looking at specific or very important information. But say if you've got some symptoms, you can put those symptoms in, and it'll come up with a bit of a guess as to what you might have. A great tool for hypochondriacs. I'm definitely not a hypochondriac, but I did have recently a bit of a ticklish cough for 3 or 4 months. It was starting to sort of bother me, and it was starting to give me a sort of a feeling of congestion, a slight feeling of congestion. But it gave me a few tips as to things that I could recommend to the doctor. But Thai doctors don't like you doing that. Up in northern Thailand, they're recommending Mae Hong Son. You can check all these on your map. A tranquil province surrounded by mountains and rivers. Well, that sounds pretty good to me. I have been up to Mae Hong Son, and you're going to be paying a lot less for your accommodation. And it's going to be a little bit, for some people, off the beaten track, but still some great little locations, Airbnbs and hotels you can stay up there. Trekking, rafting, if you're into those things, or just sitting down, enjoying a beer and watching the water go by, Mae Hong Son, a really nice place to do that. Probably with all these 3 locations, I'd be going not during the burning season. Somebody asked me about the burning season a bit earlier on. I'll get to that answer. Pai. Now, Pai has become a little bit popular with the bohemian or the backpacker crowd. Dare I say, the people that might enjoy a little bit of the smoke from time to time and other things. But beyond that, Pai is quite a cute little town. When I was there a few years ago, I found a sort of quite dusty little corner of northern Thailand, about 3 hours out of Chiang Mai, sort of northwest of Chiang Mai. The road was okay then, I'm sure it's better now. But Pai, quite quaint, probably good for a day visit anyway. Chiang Dao, now this famous for its coffee, a picturesque town near Chiang Mai featuring ancient caves, waterfalls and hiking trails. I mean, some people are going to be saying, I've never heard of these places. Well, I think it's time we did. I think we owe it to Thailand and to Thais to explore a little bit more of their country and not stay in the same hotel over the road from the beach in Jomtien and go to the same pub, probably run into exactly the same people we saw last year. I know that feels familiar and it can feel comfortable like an old shoe, but really there is so much of really wonderful, exotic, interesting places you can visit in Thailand. And I'm so glad that I have had the opportunity to to do so in the past and will do so in the future. Cheers. Now keep an eye behind me, by the way. Keep an eye on that horizon. If you see it rising at all, just notify me. By the way, from where I'm sitting, I can see the top of the Tsunami warning tower. And if it goes off, you'll know about it because we're right next door. It's got these huge speakers that I imagine are meant to sort of cover a kilometre or so. So if I'm only 50 metres away from it, I'm going to hear it. And yeah, I'm, I suppose, smart enough to have a plan. I mean, I do live next to the Andaman Sea. I mean, when I was living in Mount Eliza in Victoria, a place known as a place with high potential for bushfires. And we were told, you know, have a plan to get out of the area if we tell you to do so, or if you see smoke or an approaching fire. So and our family, we had a plan. We had a grab bag and we had an escape route or a few escape routes should a fire emerge. And because I'm living next to the Andaman Sea, as remote as it might be, much more remote than the possibility of a bushfire in Mount Eliza, which I'm glad to say hasn't happened, well, not a big one anyway, in the last 50 years or so. But I am aware that, you know, back in 2004 there was a tsunami. Now, it didn't do any damage to this area, but if the tide was a little bit higher and the wave was a little bit higher, then sure, there'd be a lot of damage here. So yeah, I've got a grab bag and there's 10,000 baht in there. Good luck if you can find it. It's got a copy of passports and other important bits of paperwork, like my leases, and we'd grab the cats and the dog, number one, and off we'd go. And we know exactly the direction which we'd go to get out of here and the alternatives should we need to take them. So I suppose that's what we've done. But yeah, if you do see that horizon rising, tell me. Let's go to northeastern Thailand, up in Isan, and see what they're recommending. Nong Khai. I've been to Nong Khai, and I think it's becoming increasingly popular with the expat crowd that are looking for something a bit cheaper and something a little bit different. I mean, there are some Western expats at the moment who are saying, look, my British pension, for example, is capped and the prices here keep on going up and I need to find somewhere cheaper to go. So some of them are saying, well, I'm going to Cambodia or Vietnam or wherever. But other people are saying, well, I'm going to go to a cheaper location in Thailand. If you want to halve your food costs, halve your accommodation costs, which are some of the big costs that you have to bear each month, then just go out to a more remote part of Thailand and you'll find exactly that. So if you're staying in Phuket or Pattaya or around Sukhumvit Road, you're paying a lot more than people out of those towns. Nong Khai, a province bordering Laos. Nong Khai, which is not too far from Loi, from memory. A really pretty area up there. offering stunning views of the Mekong River and the Pulanka National Park. Sakon Nakhon, a province known for its ancient temples. I think it's got a temple there that looks exactly the same, although much smaller scale, as, oh God, I forget what it's called, Angkor Wat, which I've been to in Cambodia. They've sort of got a mock Angkor Wat. Anyway, I shouldn't be using the word mock and Cambodia in the same sentence at the moment. A province known for its ancient temples, national parks and traditional Thai villages. I haven't been there, but I have read about it. The Khao Yai National Park, very, very popular with Thais for like a day visit out of Bangkok. A UNESCO World Heritage Site featuring lush forests, waterfalls and hiking trails. Also a place where you might see the odd elephant crossing the road. And there are occasional posts, very occasional, of elephants sitting on cars and things. Yeah, elephants and cars don't necessarily mix well. They're in the same place at the same time. Central Thailand, and we're talking about Central Thailand like a band right across from north to south. So they're mentioning Kanchanaburi, which some of us would call Western Thailand, but it is in the centre part of Thailand. And they're mentioning the Kanchanaburi Erawan National Park, stunning park featuring turquoise caves, limestone cliffs and hiking trails. I haven't been there. I've been to Kanchanaburi a few times. Highly recommend it for 3 or 4 days. Lots to do there. A very nice drive around there. Good roads. The roads are great. Of note, because I'm an Australian, they've got Hellfire Pass there and a museum which commemorates the operations of the Australians, New Zealanders, and of course the Malays and the Thais and the other people who were caught up in that, Burmese of course, that horrendous period of World War II in this part of the world when they were building the bridge from Thailand into Myanmar so the Japanese could get arms and things across those borders. And part of it was building the train track through Hellfire Pass, which was a hill, and they needed to make a cutting through it so they could get through there. Maybe it's a couple of 100 metres long, and yeah, definitely worth a visit, even if you're not Australian or New Zealander, to have a look at the hardship those people went through and the camaraderie and the amazing stories. So that's something that I'd recommend doing at Hellfire Park, at Kanchanaburi. You tried talking for an hour without stopping. Daisy's running around. What else? Ayutthaya ancient temples. Explore the ruins of the ancient kingdom, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. If you're into temples and ruins, then yeah, Ayutthaya is a place you need to visit. It's only about an hour, hour and a half drive out of Bangkok. Been there quite a few times. In fact, it was the first road trip I ever did. And we were driving, it was myself and a friend, can't really remember who it was. No, it was CJ, yes, a good friend at the time. And we drove out of Bangkok, and I was sort of interested in the way he was driving. It was a little bit different than the way I drive and the sort of side of the road I'd be staying on if I was back in Australia. And I suppose at that stage I was fairly new to Thailand and a little bit more attuned to differences. And we got to the first service station maybe an hour out of Bangkok, pulled over to grab a coffee. And I said, oh, just out of interest, I mean, how many years have you been driving? I mean, he was in his 40s. And he said, oh, I don't have a license. Okay. I drove the rest of the way. It's my first time driving in Thailand as such. I've been driving ever since. So, of course, Ayutthaya definitely worth a visit. And Lopburi. Now, if you go to Lopburi, a lot of people go there to see the monkeys. There's certainly mentioned that Monkey City, visit the ancient town overrun by mischievous macaques. Now, a town overrun by macaques is not something I'd really be looking forward to. And you can see plenty of videos. Type in Lockbury, that's Lopburi, in your Google machine or your YouTube, and you'll see the monkeys. Like hordes of them, hundreds, probably thousands, just cavorting from one area to another, and there's gangs and they fight each other. And anyway, probably not something I'd be pursuing. Macaques are not particularly pleasant animals, I've found over the years. Okay, what else we got? Southern Thailand, here we go. So we're into my part of the world. Tim's house, no, it's not listed here. I'll stop doing that, here we go. The Khao Sok National Park, that's about an hour and a half north of here. It's in the province of Suratani. I'm in PHANG, so we're crossing provinces. Good drive up there from here, and it is stunning. If you're there on a good day, it is really, really stunning. Lakes, crevices, cliffs. You're still in that part of the world where you've got the sort of natural architecture of the limestone karst hills. So it's those in around a whole big lake network. And you can stay there in like a sort of a cabin type thing overnight, right on the water. Stunning. I highly recommend the Khao Sok National Park. A lot of people already going there, but they're putting in quite a lot of infrastructure, boats, tours, and more of these lakeside accommodations and sort of raft homes. Krabi's Railay Beach. Well, you can't really go to Krabi unless you're going to go to the famous Railay Beach, which is very, very pretty. Now, it has been a little bit overrun by tourists in the high season in recent years. Go there at the moment, I think you'd be getting a much better experience. But it's a little bit difficult, not really, but you sort of have to make a bit of an effort to go there. A secluded beach, accessible only by boat, offering stunning cliffs, caves and rock climbing. Highly recommended. Nakhon Si Thammarat's Old Town. Now, this is something I haven't seen, and Nakhon Si Thammarat is about 2 provinces from here over towards the east on the Gulf of Thailand. Explore the ancient walls, temples and traditional shops. I imagine it's probably similar to Takua Pa up here, to Phuket Old Town. Even Penang, we're sort of all on that same Malay peninsula. And the islands of Koh Kud. A lot of people saying that's the island of the moment here in Thailand, and a lot of people trying to get off the well-beaten island track here in Thailand are going to Koh Kud at the moment. A tranquil island near the Cambodian border, featuring waterfalls, beaches and jungle treks. Yeah, it is sort of a little bit off the beaten track. On the east of Thailand, on the east side of the Gulf of Thailand, and down near the Cambodian border. Really worth visiting if you haven't been there yet. Koh Libong, which is on this side, on the Andaman Sea, a peaceful island in the Trang Islands, known for its beaches, mangroves, forest and bird watching. So you're sort of heading down towards the Malaysian border, and then to the coast, and then probably about an hour and a half boat trip out to Koh Libong. I think it's part of a triad of very beautiful Thai islands down there in the southern part of the Andaman Sea. And Koh Payam, that's just up here, I think, a laid-back island near Ranong. So from here, 4-hour drive to Ranong, near the Burmese border, a laid-back island near Ranong featuring beaches, waterfalls and scenic hiking. So there you go, that's just some information I found from, in that case, Meta, but you could go to DeepSeek, you can go to ChatGPT, there are plenty of other search engines around these days. So if you are looking for something a little bit different to go to, type in hidden gems, off the beaten track suggestions in Thailand. I'll give you my hidden gem here in Thailand. I said it's, don't get too excited, all right? It's not that hidden, but it is a place that you probably haven't been. And I do like beach locations. Obviously, I live next to one and I'm very, very happy here. I will get to all your comments soon, but I'll share this with you. So this is just south of Bangkok. It's probably about an hour and a half drive, on the way down to Hua Hin. It's in Phetchaburi, and it's this location on this little point here. And I found it because I used to fly every week from Bangkok to Phuket, then back from Phuket to Bangkok. In the 2020-2021, a dragonfly just landed on my computer. You can't see it, even though it's very close to the camera. And I used to sort of look out of the plane as we were heading down to Phuket, and there it was, this rather unusual shaped coastline. So one day when I was actually driving from Bangkok to Phuket, I thought, well, I'll turn left and go and check this place out. And I did. So that's where it's located. And moving in a little bit closer, it's called Chao Samran Beach. And it's right at the top of the beach. If you go further down there, you find Hua Hin Beach, which is about an hour south of the Chao Samran Beach. What makes this beach interesting, if you can see there, is this sort of rather odd-shaped coastline. And they've built these sort of piers off the coast to try and stop erosion, I imagine. But what it's caused is this sort of scalloped beach shape right along there. Now, it's not a place that Westerners seem to know about, but it is a fabulous place, and it's got great hotels and very much aimed at Thais. But yeah, you can see that scalloped beach. I stayed at the rather oddly named Seaman's Resort, but despite its name, it was quite a comfortable little place, just like 10 steps away from the beach. But you can see those structures, those sort of concrete and brick structures they've built just off the coastline that's caused this scalloping of the beach. So it's quite interesting, and you can sort of drive along the beach and see these scalloped beach shapes, but it's made for a very interesting beach shape. So I found that a very interesting place to stay for 3 or 4 days, and really good restaurants. I mean, not much to see there beyond the beach, but if you want a bit of a relaxing beach type holiday, which is a little bit different from what you might have done in the past, then I'd recommend that. Okay, so that's, I suppose, just a little bit about hidden gems that I know about. Where else have I gone that I would describe as hidden gems? Well, just on the island of Phuket, where I lived for 12 years, the more tourists that used to arrive, and the more my friends that would arrive and saying, hey, we're going to go to Bangalore Road, I went out of my way to turn off the road and try and find places that were off the tourist track, the path less travelled. And I certainly found some great little restaurants and some cool little locations and nice little sitting spots. Lots of sort of unknown restaurants at the end of a road on a coastline that nobody ever knows about. The Thais seem to know about it, and they'd be the one who would frequent these locations. There was a great little coffee shop up in the northeast side of Phuket, up near the Outpour Grand Marina, but a bit further up there, and you sort of drive right out to the end of this road. It's near a golf course, or just past a golf course, can't remember the name. But this funny little coffee shop, very quaint, pretty, modern sort of style building, banked right on the coast that looks out into the PHANG Bay. The little places you can find. There are so many off the beaten track locations. I don't know why people don't pursue them more often than they do. Let's see what you have to say. I've also got a response to a person who said I was pointing in the wrong direction when I was pointing at the Ring of Fire yesterday. So I'm going to address that, but I'm going to go into your comments here and what you have to say about hidden gems and anything else for that matter. We're sort of into the program now where we're going to talk about anything that's on your mind, any prompts I get from the comment section. We'll talk about that because it is, after all, your program. So hopefully most will have the sense not to mention their hidden gems. Cold Adelaide day, says Mr. Slippery. Nice to be away from the wet season in Pattaya. Yes, Pattaya and Bangkok have had a bit of a beating over the past few days. We've had bright sunshine here over recent days. Hope it doesn't start raining, it would be quite embarrassing. But yes, they've really had some quite poor weather and a bit of flooding in all the usual locations. Koh Bulong used to be, as did Lanta 30 years ago. This is from Austin. Now, Koh Bulong, I don't know of that, but obviously must be near Koh Lanta. Yeah, if you're heading south of Krabi and then make your way to the coast and get on a ferry, you can go to a really cool little island, sleepy little island I think we'd call it, called Koh Lanta. And I can highly recommend that too for a bit of a weekend visit if you live here, or if you're staying in Krabi. Just get a grab taxi or something to take you there. I think you would be quite happy. Tim, very Japanese shirt on. Yes, so if you didn't see the shirt, this is my my Tsunami shirt, and I'm wearing it because it is July the 5th. And if you didn't see yesterday's video, they are predicting a tsunami in Japan. These are fortune tellers. It was a manga writer who predicted this back in the 1970s. And somebody has been able to figure out that she was talking about July the 5th. And it's July the 5th. So, and we've had people saying there's been sort of seismic activity along the Ring of Fire behind me here, about 500 kilometres in that direction, this little section of the Ring of Fire that goes around the Pacific, or parts of the Pacific. And yeah, on any particular day you can type into your Google machine, and I'm sure I could do it today, earthquakes Andaman, and it'll show you, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the Richter scale, but nothing that's going to cause an earthquake that we're going to feel here or cause a tsunami. The tsunami back in 2004 was 9.1 to 9.3 on the Richter scale, many thousands of magnitude more than what we feel here, what we can read here on the seismic meters on a day-to-day basis. Get the surfboard ready, Tim, says Fun-Sized Media. Look, if a 3-meter tsunami, mind you, it has to, depends on where the tide is, but even if we got high tide, it's still about a metre below the foreshore area, so it's got to get over that. Then it's got to sort of make its way across the 30-40 metres of foreshore, across the road. Then I've got that gate. That gate would go pretty quickly, I think, but the rest of it is a brick wall, and that is going to sort of stop the worst of a wave, and the wave is not going to be that high anyway. And then, yeah, I mean, this would sort of get wet, but I think the concrete structure, which is about that thick, is going to stop the brunt of a wave hitting. And the way they come in, it's usually not a cresting wave crashing onto you. It's usually just more water coming in, and it keeps on coming in, keeps on flowing, and it's that continuous flow of water that causes the damage. So people sort of post photos of these cresting waves about 100 metres high looming over a city. Well, that's not what a tsunami looks like. You can go once again in your Google machine and find plenty of examples when there were a lot of cameras. Everybody had a mobile phone in those days, and they were pointing out to the sea, and you can see in 2011 what happened with the tsunami that did cause a lot of death and destruction, including the Fukushima power station, which caused a lot of problems at the time. But you can see it's not a cresting wave, it is a wave, but it's really that wall of water behind it that causes the damage. It's not that sort of 1 or 2 metre wave at the front, it's all the water behind that is going to eventually flow in and cause the damage. Anyway, I've talked far too much about a tsunami. Heathrow, okay, temperature south Wollongong. Okay, so Damien, I missed the rest of that conversation. Tim's shirt, the Great Wave, Japanese. Yes, it is a Japanese painting, famous painting. Hidden gem from Sunsets and Beer. Sounds like you've been to a few hidden gems. The small Koh Chang next to Ranong. Are you talking about Rayong or Ranong? There is a Koh Chang which is near Rayong. I think you might be talking about Rayong, which is south of Pattaya. Just checking. Sunsets and Beers. Tremor detected in the Java Sea. Java Sea is not going to be causing any problems here. There are hundreds of tremors, small earthquakes, every single day. But even if it was a big earthquake in the Java Sea, it wouldn't be affecting me here. Between drinks. Morning, Tim. You know, if you type tsunami in Sydney at the BOM, the official website, there's been quite one as recent as 1960. BOM, Bureau of Meteorology. Okay, I'm not sure where it was though, but I'll check that out later. Happy Independence Day from the USA, says the Wu-Tang Life. Hope you're having a good Independence Day as well. We'd be into the evening, I suppose. Hey Siri, what's the time in California? It's 41 past 7 in the evening. You've still got a few hours to go. Austin says Kopai Arm used to be until some vlogger with a drone and a huge following had a write-up in some popular travel magazine tanked that location. It's amazing the way that happens. Some people do a story about a particular location and yeah, they suddenly become popular. What do you do? I suppose it's a movement of tourists from one area to another. Or are you just adding more tourists to the general tourism mix around the world? Fun-sized Media says Soy 6 is definitely not a hidden gem. Thank you to those people that have sent me stories, by the way, about some convictions about a bar in Soy 6 and the people behind it. A story that it's in my best interest not to talk too much about because of the libel laws in Thailand and the propensity for some of the people behind that story to be quite litigious when it comes to discussing that matter. So I can't really respond, I'm afraid. People say, oh, you're not brave, you're not a journalist. Well, I'm not a journalist anyway, but I'm not particularly brave either. There are some things here in Thailand that are best left. And it's not because there isn't a lot of free speech here, there is, but there are a few no-go zones. And they're areas that I just choose to be careful with the words that I use or just avoid altogether. Because I do want to stay living here, in my little house, with my little gate, my little beach over the road for as long as I can. Kanom is beautiful. Kanom. So I know Kanom, place I've been trying to go for a couple of months. Just never seem to be able to go. I want to go and stay there for, say, 3 or 4 days. Kanom Beach, which is in Suratani. It's south of the Donsak Pier. The Donsak Pier is where you get off the mainland of Thailand and travel to Koh Samui, Koh Tao and Koh Phangan. Kanom Beach, I do want to go there. So who are you? I'll drop David Smith. David, I'm coming to see you over in Kanom. Here is something fun, says Bill G. If you're driving a car, turn your Google Maps showing you are riding a motorcycle. It seems to send you down some back roads. Some roads are very narrow, but fun. Well, there's an adventure. If you're on a motorbike, the last thing you need to be doing is looking at your phone at the same time. But I get the idea. But certainly would take you to some places off the beaten track. Although you don't want to end up on the beaten track. Roger Wilco, comment, Sakon Nakhon is a nice, quiet, small city, has an airport on the side of a big lake with a few tourists and not too far to the Lao border. Has an airport. Are there flights into there, even with small airlines? I'm not aware that there are like daily flights into Sakon Nakhon. Roy Goad says the beaches south of Hua Hin are much less touristy and usually only Thais visit. So yeah, you got like Chumpon. I stayed in Chumpon for a few days. When I was there, I shouldn't say this, but the beach was a mess. So much rubbish on the beach. I was wondering why the local council hadn't sort of dragged some Burmese migrants down there and given it a good old clean up. It was really, really bad. Such that I sort of got out of there as quickly as I could. So different beaches get different lots of beach trash at different times of the year. Certainly out the front here, we've got a little four-wheel ag bike and a trailer, and we go over there from time to time and just try and keep our patch of the beach as clean as we can. And the local council do quite a good job from time to time doing different beach cleans. Different organisations and scouts and school groups do come down from time to time and do this, though. All he wants to do is collect amazing trash off the beaches, and they keep on keeping the beaches clean here. So it's somehow, however, he's found 30,000 cigarette lighters he's got in the back of his house. What else have we got here? The Thailand national parks have a passport book, thanks Bill G, that you can buy for 100 baht. If you visit a park, you get a stamp for the park you're visiting. Great for people who like to visit national parks. Thank you very much for the tip. I suppose if you go to a national park, you can ask the people at the gate, hey, have you got some information about the passport for the national parks of Thailand? Thailand's got a very well put together, well preserved string of national parks, and you could spend 3 or 4 months just visiting all the Thai national parks, and some of them better than others, but certainly a little bit off the beaten tourist map. We've got a national park up the end of the road here. It's a little bit like what's out in front of my house, but yeah, certainly a nice little quiet national park. Has areas for camping. It's got a few bungalows. The hidden gem there is when you get to the end of that national park, about 5 kilometres up the road, there is a hidden beach. And that's a very, very pretty beach, usually accessed by people from north of the beach, around the Taplamu area, but yeah, that's a very beautiful beach and off the beaten track. Koh Payam and Koh Chang out of Ranong. Koh Chang, if just north of you, are nice. Okay, so it looks like there is a Koh Chang in Ranong and near Rayong as well. Oh, that's nice and confusing. Koh Chang, Chang, got to say it correctly. Okay, here's one from Richard Townsend. Comment, Keng Krakan National Park, Phetchaburi, 40 kilometres northwest of Hua Hin. Need a car as no bus or train access. Loads of small resorts around the lake. So that sounds great. Tim, a spider just ran up your shirt and under your collar. Lucky me. Must have happened a while ago now. Sorry, I missed that. If it was like that big, I would have noticed, okay? Probably a bit hard to see a spider running around here. Changi. Damien Jesser says Changi. That's the airport in Singapore. Definitely worth a visit. Probably the best airport in the world. But not sure if that's off the beaten track. Okay, great, all these suggestions. Thank you very much to Damien Jesser. Thank you very much for your support of the program. Much appreciated. So thank you, Damien. I just want to make sure I haven't missed any other super chats. Very kind of you. Dion N. My son just did a road trip up north and made it into some nice off the beaten track places. Phu Chai Fa is great for those who like mountains. Phu Chai Fa. Where are we? Road trip up north. So have a look for Phu Chai Fa. Great, love these suggestions. Heathrow is overcast here as well after the big storm. Heathrow, the big storms in London as well? I'm not quite sure. FJ says Buang Kan, 3 whale rocks and more. Very interesting province. Buang Kan. Did I say that right? Probably not. Damien Jesser, who else we got here? Damien, very kind of you. What else we got? Chiang Mai driving to Golden Triangle and the river resorts there. Oh, between drinks, that whole Chiang Mai to Chiang Rai and the roads up north there, very beautiful. And I've been right up to and over the border before up there, very pretty part of the world. So yeah, driving around there, highly recommended. Bill G, I just got back from Loei and Don Sai for the Hungry Ghost Festival last week. Beautiful landscapes, great people, wonderful food, lots to do in that region. Yes, I was in Loei for the Pittikorn, I think that's correct, the Ghost Festival, where they wear those long ghost masks and walk down the street with the phallic symbols. Very unusual, but very interesting, and the locals certainly get into it with plenty of that as well. Driving to Chiang Mai from Samut Prakan this week, says Eric Dufresne. That. Good luck, Eric. Hope you have a good time with that drive. There was up to 1 metre of water that flowed into Tham Luang Beach in 2005. It went up to the second road. Some road sections had to be fixed. Restaurant refrigerators were broken. No deaths, says Dan Wilson. Now this is, I think, Dan, you might be talking about 2004. I've spoken to a lot of locals about what happened here in 2004. Most have informed me that the water didn't even come onto the foreshore, or if it did, there was just a bit of sand coming on. But Dan is saying that there was up to 1 metre of water that flowed up to the second road, which is about, that'd be about 150 metres. Dan, your recollection there appears to be different from other people along the who've been living here all that time. But thank you, Dan. Obviously, people's recollections can either be exaggerated or be informed by other people's opinions over time. But I'm not aware that there was anything you could call a tsunami problem here back in 2004. If there was another event in 2005, I'm totally unaware of that, but thank you for your input. Okay, Koh Phangan, Thailand National Park with the passport. Cheers, Tim. Enjoy the morning there, says Brian Burgess. I'm going to address a comment in the comment section talking about the Ring of Fire. Now, we are here on the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire is just a name. It's not actually a ring because it's sort of a circle that goes around the Pacific Ocean from like Chile in South America up along the coast of California, well known there, up around Alaska, and then coming down through the Russian and Japanese coastlines. These are all like seismic prolific areas where there are earthquakes and some of the biggest earthquakes in history. And then it sort of goes down through the Philippines and Indonesia. Then there's a little offshoot, which we'll get to on the map. So I was saying the Ring of Fire, and I was pointing out towards the west. They're saying, no, Tim, the Pacific Ocean's in that direction. Well, yes, it is in that direction, but I was pointing to the Ring of Fire. Now, I may have said the Ring of Fire in the Pacific Ocean, and that's what they're picking me on. Of course, people love to pick on every single detail that I say, and I will get things wrong from time to time. Not that often, I might mention. But yes, I asked the Google machine, is the Andaman Sea part of the Ring of Fire? And the answer was, yes, the fault lines through the Andaman Sea are considered part of the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire is a horseshoe-shaped zone in the Pacific Ocean basin characterised by frequent seismic and volcanic activity. And so there's the Pacific Ocean, and you can see the way that ring, it's not quite a ring, but it borders around the Pacific Ocean and even goes through the north of Papua New Guinea there. And can I zoom in? Come on, there we are. And then across down into New Zealand. New Zealand, very seismic, plenty of activity there. I've experienced a few earthquakes in New Zealand. Then there's this area over here, this sort of offshoot, and you can see it scoots under Indonesia up along the south of Java Island and the west side of Sumatra. And let's get a bit of a close-up on that. And I've done a little red arrow as to where I am. Not a particularly good red arrow, but when I'm pointing out to the ring of fire, it's that line there that I'm referring to, which is west of where I am. Did I say any more about that? No, I didn't. So yes, the part of the ring of fire is out here about 500 kilometres offshore, and a part of a landmass. It's called the Nicobar Islands, which are, I think, Indian territory, but they're part of that fault line. And the earthquake that caused the 2004 tsunami was basically south of the Nicobar Islands and just to the west of the northern tip of Sumatra. And that's where the fault line slipped and caused the Indian Ocean tsunami back in 2004. Enough about tsunamis. How are we going? Oh, it still looks like the ocean's behaving itself. You'll just be laughing yourself silly if we get a tsunami here today. I know you. I know you. The beaches south of Hua Hin are much less touristy. Got that? I live in the south, two places. One beach on mainland coast of PHANG province, and Kwanjai Bamboo Garden Market in Patalung province. Awesome places. So Trang is a very beautiful province, and Kwanjai Bamboo Garden Market in Patalung. So Patalung and Trang, if I'm sort of heading from here, you'd go across to the main north-south road and you'd head south and you'd be going through Patalung and Trang on your way down to the Malaysia border. By the way, if you are travelling down to the south of Thailand, parts of the south of Thailand have been known, well, not have been known, but have been extremely violent. But the main road is considered safe. They do a lot of work to make sure that the thousands of people travelling north and south along that main road from Malaysia into southern Thailand is absolutely safe. And there are thousands of passenger vans full of tourists and plenty of private locals that ply that road on a daily basis without any problems at all. Just wanted to talk about tourism because when we're talking about getting off the beaten track, it all comes down to tourism and what tourists are doing. And we've got some reports about the latest tourist numbers. So let's check those. We go to the Bangkok Post. Thailand foreign visitors down 4.6%. So what is that 4.6% year on year compared to last month? Let's try and find out. Now, speaking about getting off the beaten track, this one, the caption, foreign visitors enjoy a joke while harvesting rice during a stay at a farm stay in Chiang Mai province. So a lot of people do come to Thailand to experience something other than swinging your legs under a stool at a bar overlooking Jom Tien Beach. People do things other than wandering around Bangla Road in Patong. And it's these people that I think are really getting the best out of Thailand. So if you have been coming here and you enjoy staying at the same place each year, just get out of your comfort zone. It's going to be perfectly safe, and I promise you, you're going to come away from visiting these different locations or trying something different with a different outlook on what Thailand has to offer. Anyway, to the story, enough of my moralising. Thailand's foreign tourist arrivals from January the 1st to June the 29th. So we're talking about the first 6 months of this year. It fell 4.5% from the same period a year earlier. Okay, there were about 16.6 million foreign tourists. Interestingly, Malaysia was the largest source country with 2.3 million visitors, followed by China with 2.25. Now, that's knocking China off the perch as the number one source of tourists for Thailand. I think that's very interesting. China's just been leading the scoreboard for years and years and years, but currently Malaysia is the number one source of tourists here in Thailand. And last week the Bank of Thailand cut its forecast for foreign tourist arrivals this year to 35 million from 37.5 million. The record was back in 2019 when there were nearly 40 million tourists visiting Thailand. So we're not going to get to that. Now, let's have a look at those numbers. They're saying 16.6 million foreign visitors for the first 6 months of the year. So if we got the same visitation for the second half of this year, we'd only get to 33.2. Tell me if I'm wrong, 32, 33, that's right, 33.2 million visitors. So pretty much the TAT are forecasting that we'll get more visitors in the second half of this year than we had for the first half. That might be a tough ask, but will be interesting to see. Let's go a little bit more into this story. Thai economy in May sees tourism decline and slower consumption despite export growth. And foreign tourist arrivals fell 13.9%. Now that's compared to April, May compared to April. But exports are continuing to grow for the 11th consecutive month. So we'll get to that story a little bit later. And this is interesting. So the numbers in May are down nearly 14% compared to April. I'm not so surprised about that because we are in that sort of low season, monsoon season, or wet season part of the year. But probably dropped more than people have predicted. And along this beach, particularly today because it's the 5th of July, and I haven't seen any of the people setting up over the road either. I wonder if they're not going to set up today because of a tsunami. Going to be interesting to see. We'll certainly talk about that on Grumpy Old Men, which shall be coming up tomorrow. Look forward to catching up with Steve and hearing his stories. He's going to be bringing his book of the week to the program. I've got a little segment bringing some media of the week. That's my little segment. Steve brings a book and I bring some other digital media. So that's tomorrow. I'll probably uploaded by about 10 a.m. in the morning, if there's no tsunami. So I did see some numbers and I've tried to find the source, but I did read yesterday that Chinese arrivals year on year are down 44%. Now that's a massive drop. And I wish I could find the numbers so that you don't think I'm completely insane, but I'm very sure it said that the Chinese arrivals year on year were down 44%. So I think TAT have got to do a lot of work with the Chinese market because they're very, very lucrative. And that's what's causing so much of the tourist pain at the moment is the lack of Chinese tourists. Mind you, tourists from anywhere in the world are welcome here in Thailand. And some people whinge about one particular lot of tourists coming rather than another one. I think that's a very selfish way to look at it. But a lot of people are welcome to come and visit Thailand. And at the moment we've seen a lot of Middle Eastern tourists, a lot of Indian tourists. They seem to be sort of keeping up a lot of the foreign tourist numbers. The Malaysian numbers are obvious because we border with Malaysia, and a lot of those numbers would be people just popping over for like a weekend in Hat Yai or something. But hey, they're spending money in Thailand, so yeah, they're tourists as well. Where was I going with all this? I think I'll go back to your comments. We had just one major storm in Pattaya that only lasted about an hour or two. It's been mostly sunny, partly cloudy recently, says Roy Goad. Thank you very much, Roy. Here is something fun if you're driving. Thank you very much, Bill. I did that. Phil L. Hi, Tim. I returned from visiting Coron, Kata Beaches in Phuket. It was my first time being there and I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure if I'd go during the high season, but it was great. Yeah, look, if you want well-developed tourism location with all the attractions, huge selection of quality restaurants, great beaches, go to Katakaron. It's been well looked after and well developed over the years. Still got plenty of Thailand there if you're looking for that. But beyond that, it's got lots of bars and restaurants and interesting things to do. And this time of the year sure would be a great place to visit. During the high season, I think you might be a little bit shocked by how busy it does get there. Mr. Ben's World, off the beaten track. I lived for 2 years in the Songkhla province, that's in southern Thailand. There's not really a ton to see and do there. Muang Songkhla and Hat Yai, that's like the main city, do have much to offer, and national parks too. Thank you very much, Mr. Ben's World. Fun-sized media has just disappeared. Every now and then I'm just scrolling and it just goes for it. Okay, let's go down here a bit further. Joining late tonight, but these little earthquakes are nothing. I live on the Ring of Fire. This is Canada, I think, from Brett Border, in the Pacific with over 400 earthquakes per year in my Vancouver Island, Seattle region. There is a Koh Chang in Ranong. There you go. There's a Koh Chang in the Gulf of Thailand and a Koh Chang out here. I didn't know that, so there you go. I've learned something. Thank you very much. Consider it's a good thing Consider it's a good thing that one doesn't know two Koh Changs. Koh Chang, I'll say it right. Yes, Ranong is north of Phuket. Ranong is north of where I am here. 4-hour drive from here. I've been to Ranong many times. I used to go there for my 3-monthly visa run, border run, and I'd go to Ranong, get in a leaky boat, spend half an hour wondering if I'd get to Myanmar. We'd arrive in Myanmar, about a 30-minute trip, very pretty, quiet, and get off the pier, go up to this tiny little building, 3 by 3 meters, knock on the door, hello, and present them with my passport with a crisp, unfolded $20 US dollar note, very important. They'd take that and they'd stamp my passport and I'd go back. I used to do that every 3 months. I do know Ranong very well. I didn't know there was a Koh Chang there. Chiang Khan, north of Loei on the Mekong, is stunning, says Neil Maxwell. Looks like we've all got to head up to Loei and Nong Khai and have a look around there. Sounds like a place we need to check out. Mae Sot is okay for just a few days, maybe not right now with the conflicts going on. I think Damien, if you're on the Thai side, it's okay. And Mae Sot, yeah, I think it's okay if you're on the Thai side, but wouldn't be hanging around the border areas for too long. But you can stand there and look across the border to lovely towns like Shwe Koko in Myanmar, where there are hundreds of thousands of people scamming people from around the world. Turn that into a tourist attraction. 20 years ago, I taught English to a bus full of Prince of Songkhla students around South Thailand for 2 weeks, explored caves and islands and parks, says Paul Henry. Sounds like it would have been fun. Dragged some Burmese migrants and there it is. Sound cuts intermittent. I'm sorry if you're getting some sound cuts. You shouldn't be cutting out. I've got a continuous level here. I'm sorry if you're having trouble with the sound. I ride a recumbent trike around Thailand. That's a different way to travel. So far, Bangkok to Suratani and Khao Sok. A recumbent bike. Searching for, no, I'm in the wrong program there. I have no idea what a recumbent bike is. Recumbent bike. I want to see what this looks like. Okay, what it showed me is pictures of a sort of a bike riding machine. What is a recumbent bike? Images. What is a recumbent bike? Okay, so it could be 2 wheels out the front, 1 wheel in the back, and you're basically lying down and pedaling at the front. That's a recumbent bike? Okay, tell me if I'm wrong. But that sounds an interesting way to travel. Not sure if I sort of want to be seeing Thailand like that. I'd rather be doing it like that or sitting in the back of a car. Interesting, thank you very much. And Stephen, good luck with your future travels. Daryl McGee, thank you very, very much for your support, your weekly, your regular, your very firm support. Daryl, what would I do without you? Along the Mekong River in the north is spectacular. Thanks for the show again. So yeah, have a think everybody about along the Mekong River. As I said, I wanted to sort of ride from Nong Khai, Loei, all the way down along the Mekong River down to the Cambodian border. Bill G, thank you very much for your support. Great recommendations in today's video. I'm taking notes. Many blessings to you. Thank you very much, Bill G. I get a ring of fire when I eat som tam. Thank you, Toby, for that comment I didn't think I'd get from anybody. Water, anybody? I need some water. All right, just moving through these comments, and thank you very much, everybody, for these comments, and I do appreciate the super chats as well. American Aviator, thanks, Andrew, that worked. What else we got? Why am I hearing Johnny Cash right now? Why am I hearing Johnny Cash right now? Oh, Ring of Fire. I'm singing it in my head. Sad news today about the passing of Julian McMahon, a great Australian actor. That it is very sad. He wouldn't have been that old, would he? He was the son of Australian Prime Minister Billy McMahon. He did become a popular Australian actor, mostly in the US, where he, he was in some series about plastic surgery or something. But I know he was very popular there. I didn't know he was sick or if it's been a surprise, but his mother, Sonia McMahon, in her days when she was the first wife, she was the wife of Billy McMahon, tall, statuesque, blonde, beautiful woman. She wouldn't be with us anymore, but sad to hear about the passing of Julian McMahon. FJ, Tai Muang Beach was among the areas impacted by the tsunami, says FJ. Tai Muang also experienced significant damage and loss of life. No, it didn't. I'm sorry, I'm backing all the locals. I must have spoken to 40 or 50 locals about this specific question because I didn't want to get it wrong over the years, and almost to a T they've told me, and look, they might be just like a lot of Thais wanting to sort of wash a bad memory out of their mind, but they said no, the wave didn't come onto the beach here, and no, there was no damage. Maybe I've got to ask deeper questions, but FJ, as far as I know, there wasn't certainly wasn't any loss of life. I mean, people would tell me if it happened. I just think it's strange. Mind you, Tai Muang Beach, it can stretch north of here and south of here, although I don't know. Anyway, thank you very much, FJ, for sending that to me. Yeah, it could be a good run. A few more. A comment. I'll be going to Kanom Beach, says Brett Border, and non-touristy areas in Suratani for a week in August between time in Koh Tao for diving and Phuket and Tai Muang. We look forward to your visit. Kanom Beach, I've had it on my sort of list. We were going to pack Daisy up in the back of the car and go and spend 3 or 4 days at an Airbnb. And I think there was a problem of finding a place that was suitable, and something sort of came up and we had to cancel it, but a place I do want to go. Trung Old Market, Mu Yang, absolutely awesome way to eat pork, says Senny Ans. So I have been to Trung. I bought a cake. Apparently it's famous for its cakes. Didn't particularly enjoy it. It's like a sponge cake in Trung. And it was a place you go from Trung out to some of those southern islands, including the most beautiful beach in the world last year, which was at Koh Kradan. I stayed on Koh Kradan in a little bungalow with a python in the rafters. It was a few years ago. Do they count the Malaysian day visitors that must just cross the border to quickly visit a market, says Sunsets and Beers? Well, I think there's a difference. You can have a thing called a day pass if you live in these border areas. A day pass is different from getting a stamp in your passport, so I don't think it covers those day traders. That's something that I thought in the past as well, and a good question, Sunset and Beers, but no. They have a thing called a day pass system, which is quite different from carrying your passport over the border. And Yaklama asks the same question. I'm pretty sure it's not border commuters. There is a day pass system. Looking good, Tim, in your post's picture. Yes, the thumbnail, I gave them a photo of me and said, could you have me walking off the beaten track in Thailand with an orange t-shirt and the word Thailand, and they did a perfectly good thumbnail for the pro, but it doesn't look anything like me. Julian McMahon was the 56-year-old only son of Prime Minister William McMahon, got his acting start in Home and Away before hitting it big in America. Thank you, Roger. 56 years old, he went far too young. Gotten used to Nakhon Ratchasima for a regular, slowish lifestyle, says Jeff Beck. Tourist areas are nice to visit, wouldn't want to live there. That's a good point. We go to these tourist areas and we think, yeah, I'd like to live here. Living anywhere in Thailand is very, very different from visiting that area in Thailand. You go to Pattaya and you have a really good week, and you have a millionaire's weekend. You go to Phuket and you have a really good rollicking time. You think, oh, I'd like to live here, but you don't live where you go as a tourist. Well, very few people do. If you do, you're probably going to be disappointed, and it's probably going to be very, very expensive. Question, where is your video about your new EV? Scarface, you ask me this question every week, and you are perfectly well entitled to ask. Now, just yesterday, I was going through some of the footage I've already shot, because I've got to do all the bits in between. And you've got to make sure that that scene flows into that scene. I mean, making these videos is hard work. So I found the shirt that I was wearing, so it looks like I'm wearing the same shirt. The pair of pants I was wearing, I don't have anymore, so I'm going to have to fake that. Just don't look at my pants when you're looking at the video. You might see a continuity error. And I charged up the car, and I was all ready to go shooting some of the B-roll for that video, and something came up and I didn't. That's my excuse for this week. I'll get to it, all right? I'll get to it. And a few more. Very quickly, scrolling down, Travel Workbench. Nice Tsunami visitor. Sorry, Travel Workbench had disappeared. Here it is. Nice Tsunami shirt. Western tourists seem to be increasing a lot. We're getting significantly more traction with anything Thai related in the States now. Thank you very much, Travel Workbench. Western tourists seem to be increasing a lot in the US or Thailand. Help me out. It's my shirt, my Tsunami shirt. Thank you very much. I'm looking at Zeekr, zero finance available. Oh, I see. Zeekr is an electric car. There's Zeekr, there's BYD, there's Netta, there's JQ and Omida, there's Deepak. My God, there's just so many really good electric cars around these days. Oh, Tesla, of course. Tesla sell here in Thailand as well. Not very popular here in Thailand, but you see a few of them around. And frankly, I don't want to get into arguments about electric cars, but the new Chinese EVs are just like a generation ahead of anything that Tesla's putting out at the moment. Battery technology, features, price. So yeah, here in Thailand anyway, the Chinese EVs are just a generation ahead of anything else coming from different parts of the world. Uncle Bob, Tim, do you think Thailand is being ticked off as been there, done that? Good question. And now looking elsewhere, does TAT need to push train trips or even rice harvesting as an alternative? My grandkids love it. Uncle Bob, I think this is part of the problem and sort of a little bit unspoken. That when people say Thailand, they go, oh yeah, I've been there. there is a lot of travellers who have been to Thailand. They've done that visit, and they've either decided they're going to come back, that small percentage of people that like returning to favourite tourist locations, or they've gone off somewhere else. And I think you're right, the TAT is still saying, come to amazing Thailand and have a pad Thai and go shopping in Sukhumvit Road and go to the red light districts in Pattaya or visit the island of Phuket. And people going, well, we've sort of done that. The TAT really need to push the off the beaten track, the path less travelled, the hidden gems, because I think Thailand is for many people very one-dimensional. But for those of us that live here, it's multi-dimensional. And there's literally always something new to see every single day if you want to just go out and have a look. But Uncle Bob L, I think that's probably the most profound comment in the section. I think there is a sense that we've seen Thailand, we've done that. So yeah, that's up to people like me to try and point out that there are other things to do here in Thailand. Hey, Thai Muang Beach is a bit of a hidden gem. I lived in Phuket for 12 years. I'd never heard of this beach. I'd never visited here until Steve Ross one day said, hey, come up and do an interview. Boy, that would change my life. So I think that this is off the beaten track. This is just so totally different from Phuket. You can count the number of tourists each day on one hand. There are fewer things to do. I mean, if you want a place to just relax and do not much at all, this is a really good place to do it. And there's a long straight beach here out the front. Not the best beach in Thailand by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a beach and it's quiet and it's relaxing and it's got a sea breeze. And there are some really good restaurants along this foreshore. So, I mean, you could spend 3, 4, 5 days here, and not so much here, but within, 10, 15 minutes drive around the region, there's plenty of really interesting things to see. But this is not on the tourist map. You could go to any TAT list and you're not going to see Thai Muang or Turtle Beach mentioned. But yeah, this is a great, slightly off the beaten track. Having said that, it's only 35 minutes from the Phuket International Airport. It's a lot quicker to get here than it is to get to Patong. 2 more. I lost a dog last week, went up local mountain looking for mushrooms. Dog never came back. I guess he went looking up for chicken at another farm and okay. Nongwa, so very sorry to hear about that. I'd be devastated if, well, Dusty, my black cat, where's Dusty? He'd be around somewhere. He went walkabout for 18 days and we were so sad. I mean, Dusty's about 13 anyway, and I thought, well, he's not going to last. 18 days later, woke up, heard a noise in the living room. Dusty was there at his food bowl saying, where's the food? He was half the size. He looked pretty decrepit, but we were very happy to have him back. He's fully recovered now, but I can imagine you'd be very distraught and sorry to hear about that. Yeah, hope you get some closure. Jay says, hi Tim, have you bought any Bitcoin since last time we talked? No, Jay, I haven't bought any Bitcoin and I won't. But thank you very much for asking. Robert Hardy, in Phuket, it costs 600 Thai baht per person to play boring mini golf. 1,500 Thai baht to go on a jet ski at the beach. 3,000 Thai baht per person to go to an elephant sanctuary for 1.5 hours. Never again. I get that. Oh, look, I just might say, who asked me about the Bitcoin? It's just disappeared. Gee, there's a lot of comments there. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to be able to get through all of them. Robert, who's the person who asked me about Bitcoin? Jay, just Jay. Okay, I get Bitcoin. I know about Bitcoin. I've read a lot about Bitcoins, other coins, and yeah, I mean, I've been reading a lot about it over the years. At the age I am, and with my financial situation the way it is, the The problem I have with Bitcoin is if I'm invested in it, that I don't know whether the value, hi Dina, is going to go up tomorrow or down tomorrow. With what I have with my YouTube channel, I know that if there's X number of viewers, I'm going to get X number of return. And it's an amount over the past 2 years that I've been able to pretty much predict within 1,000 baht or so how much money I'm going to make. And it's just slowly going up each month. It's predictable based on the amount of work I put in, work that I really, really enjoy. And with the Airbnbs, I roughly know that there are going to be people booking in and we're going to be making a certain amount of money, and it's reasonably predictable, once again, pretty much based on the work that I put into that particular project. With an investment like Bitcoin, yeah, sure, passive income if the value is going up, but passive loss if it goes down. I'm not in a situation where I can put any money into something that has a 50% chance of going up or a 50% chance of going down. I'd be petrified if the value was to drop. And I don't know if it's going to keep on going up. It's had a pretty good run over the last 3 or 4 months, but it's not always had those good runs. If I had 30 or 40 years ahead in my life and I had a chunk of money that I was prepared to risk, I'd probably throw it into some sort of Bitcoin account. But I don't have money to risk, and I don't have any control over whether that Bitcoin is going up or down. The only reason the value of Bitcoin goes up is because people flood the internet with stories about how much money they've made and the Lamborghini they've bought because of their Bitcoin investment. It's based on vibe, and vibe only. There's zero intrinsic value to it. So I'm just petrified that the vibe may go down. Now, when the US dollar goes down, people are going to be throwing their money into things like gold and Bitcoin, which they see as some sort of hedge against the value of the dollar. But I'm not in a situation, apart from my doubts, my personal doubts about Bitcoin, I just don't want to be waking up at 3 in the morning wondering how my investment's going. So look, maybe I should put $100 in just to play the game and just see how it goes. But I don't want to be throwing all my value, my money into something I have no control over whether it's going to go up tomorrow or down. Sorry to spend so much money on that. I shouldn't have been boring everybody else with it. Catherine, hi Catherine, great to have you with us. Would love fresh ideas for the Phuket area. Been so often, love any ideas that aren't named on TripAdvisor, please. We're early 70s and prefer staying on land. Oh, okay. Well, what I'd be doing is I'd be going up to the north part of the island around Mai Khao. There's some really nice hotels up there. Renaissance, JW Marriott. There's some bungalows, plenty of bungalows. You can stay there. And there's some cheaper hotels on the beach as well. But that's a really nice beach stay, and there are some quite beautiful areas around there. And then you can drive up to the north of Phuket and enjoy the views and the little beaches and the walks around there. And then into Phang Nga. Once you're up there, go to Samet Nang Si. S-A-M-E-T, writing this down. I'll type it into the comments section. Samet Nang Si. Samet. Google it. The prettiest view in the world. There you go. It's about from, well, if you're in the middle of Phuket, somewhere around Kattu, it's about an hour drive. If you're up on right on the bridge, the Saracen Bridge, it's about a 40-minute drive from the Saracen Bridge. 40 minutes? Yeah, about 40 minutes. Recommended. Samet Nang Si, there I put it into the thing. Highly recommended. It's not in Phuket, it's in Phang Nga. But yeah, you're on land, you park there and you go up to a cafe. Food's quite good, not cheap, but good. And the view, you will thank me. Okay, just trying to pick, hi everybody, Scarface, not every week, every other week, talking to each other. Bitcoin is boring. Age or ignorance. Yeah, okay. What is the current tax payable on US dividends by Thai residents? What is the current tax payable on US dividends by Thai residents? Okay. If you're getting those dividends paid back into your Thai bank account, oh, geez, do you pay tax on that? I think US dividends for Thai residents. Yeah, you'd have to pay tax in Thailand on those dividends into your Thai bank account. However, if what I've done with Airbnb and Google, who pay me for this, is I pay tax in the US before the money is sent to me here. So I'm an American taxpayer. Anyway, I've got all my sort of stuff sorted out. I pay a little bit of tax once it's here, but yeah, look, all I can say is the best thing to do, and don't all get into this, please, is consult. Everybody's got an individual situation. My situation is quite different from everybody else's as well. So you need to get advice from a tax agent. Don't get advice from forums. But look, that is an interesting question. If you're earning money on Bitcoin and you're having it paid into, so you're only paying money on, look, I'd have to sit down and take my shoes off and count on my toes for that one. But it does very much depend on other things that you're doing and the way that you got your finances set up. Put 1% of your net worth in. Don't look at it for a year or two. Thank you. Okay, Jay, thank you very much. Jay, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I too have had some friends that have lost a lot of money playing on Bitcoin. And I know it's a timing thing. And yeah, it's had a really good run. But I had some friends putting money back in November 2020 or something, and it just went, and it could do that tomorrow. You just don't know. You've got no control over it at all. So, but good luck for those people that have thrown some money into Bitcoin and are doing well out of it. I'm not jealous of you. I don't have any hate towards you. I appreciate your desire to push how good Bitcoin is, because that's the only thing that's keeping the value up. If everybody started saying, oh, there's a problem with Bitcoin, the value would go bang like that, because it's all based on vibe. But good luck to you, truly, good luck to you. And with that, don't want to talk about Bitcoin. I have to go and see my documents, have a coffee. I've got a busy day ahead of me. Good luck to everybody that are celebrating their American Independence Day. And keep an eye on that. The coast is still looking pretty good. Got a few darker clouds looming, but still plenty of blue sky and sunshine. Hopefully your day is going to be great. Hopefully your weekend's going to be superb. Grumpy Old Men will be around tomorrow. In the meantime, I've got things to do. Thanks for watching today. Hopefully we've discovered a few things off the beaten track in Thailand. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.